My name is Maya Lee from Bellingham. Thank you for coming and doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming up from Bellingham.
Two thoughts, if I may. One is related to the school choice, which I like the idea of school choice. I have to, from being a parent and having a kid who turned out very different from myself, when you said reading, writing, arithmetic, that's me, straight A's, but my kid is not. And so I just want to bring that into the room to allow for diversity in the schools. What's keeping her in school is theater. Okay, I was not a theater kid, that did not exist when I was a kid, but the drama program at Seahome High School, she actively said, I want to go there, and she transferred there, and that has kept her and gotten her through school. She's probably going to graduate. So, so we need school choice, we need a variety of activities in school, in addition to reading, writing, and arithmetic. There are people who need that to live. And she's smart, she's brilliant, she can hold a job, but theater is her path. So just want to make sure that's there. And then the other issue about energy, I was actually in a meeting this morning with Representative Alex Ramel and a couple other energy folks, and talking about PSE is essentially planning to increase its capacity, and they front out agreed right now PSE could not support all that we're asking, but by 2030 and 2050 they are planning to end reliance on coal and other fossil fuels, and they're building up to do that, including electrifying for EVs and sort of step one, be as efficient as possible. That's a responsible thing to do as a person, and then electrify everything. That's kind of where they're going, but in a responsible way, not all at once, but the infrastructure will be available. Utilities are planning to support that. So I just want to put that in the room too. It's a possibility.
Certainly, computer science is another great example of something that attracts a lot of young students. And I absolutely have no issue with those sorts of programs. What I do just have an issue with is at times when sort of ideology is promoted to students in schools that should be teaching in a math class math, or in a history class American history. What I don't think is the right answer is to teach things other than that about ideology or even basically some forms of political activism in what is supposed to be an English class where you read Shakespeare. But I absolutely think we should have those programs, and we need to have especially STEM programs or other programs like theater to give children that diversity of learning in their academic portfolio. But secondly, to the comment about energy conservation, I hope that they're right. I really hope that by 2030 everything will be electrified. You can call me a skeptic, but I just don't think we're necessarily going to get there. And I think that, ironically enough, if we are able to get there and create a better electric grid, we're going to rely on a whole bunch of natural gas to get us to that point in the first place. That's how electric car batteries are created, using very much natural gas and those sorts of things. So I hope, I absolutely hope that by 2030, enough energy can be harvested in forms of renewable energy and from the sun that we don't need to have natural gas necessarily. I'm worried, however, that government regulations to try to force us to get there when the market isn't ready to adapt isn't necessarily going to lead us to that place. And that's why, I think even in the 1990s, California was trying to say that by 2010, they would have sort of the grid to provide enough electric energy, and they very much do not now. And they're in a state that in some ways has more of an advantage to do those things than we do. We don't have very many, for example. I think there's only one wind farm in the entire western part of Washington state. And so if we're going to get more wind farms, what are we going to have to do with a lot of the agriculture land? That's a big debate right now between farmers that don't want their land to be taken or bought from them to create a wind farm when all they've ever known is farming. And so these are difficult ongoing conversations. So I hope you're right. I really hope that we do reach that point because I think that would be a promising future. But I don't think that these government regulations are going to get us there necessarily. But I think both of those observations were great. So thank you very much.